In this video, we're going to use the page-safe stack from Joe Workman to add a login to our RapidWeaver website. You can get more information about page-safe on the rapidweavercommunity.com website, and as you can see here, it is a paid-for add-on. Once you've got it installed, let's go over to RapidWeaver and see how we use it. So as you can see here, I have a one-page website already set up in RapidWeaver, and I've published that up to our domain, which for this video is rapidweavertutorial.com. So right now all we have is a home page. What we want to do is add another protected page where the user needs to enter a password. So to do that, I'm going to duplicate the home page and I'm going to call this protected. And then all we need to do is add the page safe stack to this page. So as you can see here, I've got a folder with all the stacks that come with page safe. So there's logout, page safe and stack safe. Right now we're just going to focus on the page safe stack. So drag and drop that at the top of your page and then click the I button to adjust the settings. We're going to focus on just the passcode settings for now, and as you can see here, for the type you can have a PIN or a password. We're going to use a PIN, and if you want to add additional pins alongside the default 1, 2, 3, 4, you can do that by entering one on a separate line. So if we wanted 9999 to work, you would enter it here. Once you've done that, all you need to do is publish these changes up to the live server. Because right now, PageSafe does not work in RapidWeaver's local preview mode. You need to publish it up to your server to see it in action. So once those have published, let's go to the live domain and refresh. And you'll see we've got our protected page now. So we click there. And this is where we see the page safe stack working. So once we see this login page, we need to know the 4-digit code to be able to access the content. So we can either enter 1234 or 9999. Once you do that, PageSafe will check the login and it will send you back to the protected page. So you can see here we're now on the page or the protected page, and we can view the home page as well. So if we go back to RapidWeaver, and we can actually update this content just so that we know we're on a separate page. So we call this protected content, like so. And I'll just publish that up quickly. And back to the browser, and we'll refresh. And there we can see we've got the protected content and we've got the home page as well. So this is still working for us. We can still visit both pages because PageSafe will keep us logged in for this session. So we don't need to enter the passcode every single time we refresh the page or every single time we try and access this page. So the next thing we'll want to do is allow the user to be able to log out. So to do that, if we go to RapidWeaver, we can use the logout stack here. So if I scroll down and drop that in below the paragraph, what we then need to do is simply add a button inside of the logout stack. So I'm using Foundation for this project, so I can use the Foundation button, drop it in here. We can set this as a button, doesn't matter which type it is, and then we can set the text to log out. I'm going to set the text to small and I'm going to round the corners. Once we've done that and we publish, we can go to the browser, refresh our page content, and you'll see we now have a logout button. When we click on there, we get logged out and we can no longer access the content. We can still access the home page obviously because this is not password protected, but if we try to go to the protected page again, we'll be asked to log in. We can enter our passcode. PageSafe will unlock the page for us and we can now view the protected content again. Okay, the next thing you might want to do is have multiple pages protected by PageSafe. So to do this, let's go to RapidWeaver and we'll add a new page. I'm going to duplicate the home page again and we'll say protected to, like so. Drop that at the bottom of our page. And then what you might be thinking is that you just need to go and drag and drop the PageSafe stack onto here. But unless you want to have separate logins for each page with separate passcodes, that's not what you're going to want to do. If you want to share the logins from the first protected page across other pages on your site, you'll want to create a partial from this page safe stack. So to do that, select the page safe stack and click the partial button. We'll then give this a title of page safe, and we'll go back. And now if we go to the protected to page and to our partials, you'll see we have that page safe partial. If we drag and drop that into here, that stack is then shared across these two pages. And that means that we have all of our passcodes that we set up available across both pages. We don't need to update the stack in two different places. Okay, once we've done that, if we hit publish, and we then go back to the browser and we refresh our page, you'll see we have the protected to page here. And when we try and access that, you'll see that we're still logged in because PageSafe is managing that session for us. If we go back to the protected page and log out, and then if we go to the home page, we can try and access protected to, but we're going to be given the login page instead. And you can see here we're on the page 2. If we go back and try and access the protected page, we're still asked to log in. So this time if we log in on the second page with one of our passwords, we get logged in and we have access to both of those pages that we're using the page safe partial. Okay, the next stack that I want to show you is, if we go back to RapidWeaver, I want to show you the stack safe stack. And what this one does is allow you to display content based upon whether the user is logged in or not logged in. So on the home page, for example, this content is available to everyone. You don't need to be logged in to view this. However, if we wanted some content on the home page here that was only visible to users who were logged in, we would use the stack safe stack. So we'll drag and drop that onto the page. And here you can see that we get a section to add stacks for when the user is logged in and for when the user is not logged in. So let's just go to our foundation stacks, and I'm going to drop in a header, and for now we'll just say logged in, and we'll duplicate that, and in here we'll say not logged in. Now the key thing that you need to remember here is that you have set the page safe ID to be the same across all of your pages. So this stack safe stack will look for a page safe with the ID of page safe. So if we go back to our protected page here and we edit our partial, you'll see on the page safe settings the page safe ID is set here. So ensure that is consistent across all of the pages on your site. If we go back to the home page, however, and publish those changes, and once RapidWeaver's finished publishing that, what you might notice, or the warning that you might get, is that there are multiple index files on your server. Now what's happening here is that previously, before we added the stack safe stack, we were using a .html extension, and this was because we didn't require any PHP code on the site. However, as soon as we added one of those page safe stacks, because page safe requires PHP, it changed the extension to .php, as you can see here. This means that we then have two index files on our server. So if we go and view our site in the browser, on the home page here, you'll see that we're not seeing that content that we added. And this is because we're being served the index.html file by default. If I were to go to /index.php, you'll see that we're now logged in and we are seeing that additional content that we added. To fix this issue, I'm going to log in via transmit to my site, and I'm going to simply delete the old index.html file. Now when we go back and visit the root of our domain name, you'll see that we now see the stack safe content. And as you can see here, we are logged in. If we will go to the protected page and log out, and we go back to the home page, you'll see we're now not logged in. Okay, once you've got the basics of that down, what I want to show you is how you could add a login and log out button into the menu area. So let's go to RapidWeaver, and first of all, on the top bar here, what I'm going to do is scroll down and do a drop zone for the additional zone setup. Now, everything I'm doing in this video is foundation specific, so you might have similar features depending on the theme or the framework that you're using. But if you want to learn more about foundation, we have a dedicated course that I recommend you go and check out. Okay, having said that, what we can now do is drop in some stacks into the menu bar drop zone area. And what I'm going to do is move this stack safe stack into this area here. Now I'm going to remove these headers. And what I'm going to do is when the user is logged in, I'm going to add a logout button. So I'm going to go to my page safe folder and drag and drop the logout button or the logout stack into the logged in area. I'm then going to add a logout button. So I'll drop a button inside of there. And I'm going to set the text to logout. I'll just set that as a button. I'm going to set the size as tiny and rounded corners. Okay, that fixes the logout button that will be used across the entire site. However, what we might want to do is allow a user to log in or have a dedicated login page. So to do that, I'm going to duplicate this home page again, and I'm going to call this login. I'm then going to change the folder name to be login, like so. And then what we're going to do is remove all of this content from here. So we don't need any of these stacks. The only stack we need on this login page is the page safe stack. So we'll drop that in there. Or actually, what we want to do is use that partial that we set up. So sorry about that, my mistake, but what we'll do is we'll drop in the page safe partial onto the page here. We don't need anything else, and because this is a partial, all of our settings have been kept and we've got our passcodes available here. Okay, once we've got that, we'll go back to the home page, and when a user isn't logged in, I want to show them a login button. So I'm going to duplicate this button here into the not logged in section. I'm going to set the type to be a link, and I'm going to set the link to that login page. And then we'll update the text to login. Okay, so we're almost done. The final thing we want to do is turn this top bar into a partial so that we can share it across all of the pages on our site. So again, to do that, select the top bar stack and click the partial button. I'll give this a title of top bar. And then what we'll do is we'll update the two protected pages to use that partial instead of the static stack. So we'll remove that one there and we'll drop the partial in. And we'll do the same on the protected to page. Okay, once we've done that, let's publish all these changes up to the live site and have a look. So we'll view those changes in the browser. If we go to the home page, you'll see we now have a login button here, so we can log in. We're sent to the login page. We can enter 9999. Now I did expect this to happen, and this is a key point when using the page safe stack. You need to update one additional setting to ensure that this works correctly. So back in RapidWeaver, if we go to our login page and on the page safe partial on the page safe stack, what we need to do is ensure that we redirect back on login. So we're going to check this button here, and then we're going to publish those changes up to the server. Okay, now back in the browser, if we go back to our home page, you'll see that we are now logged in, so we can log out. And then when we go back to the login page, we enter our PIN again. You'll now see that we are redirected back to our home page, and you'll see that we are logged in because we now see the logout button. We can also go to our other two protected pages because we're still logged in. And if we log out again and we try and access, for example, the home page, we can see that. And we can try and access a protected page. We need to log in. And now we're logged in and we can view our content. Now the final thing you'll probably want to do is perhaps hide this login menu item. So to do that, you just go to RapidWeaver on the login page. Under the general settings, uncheck the show in navigation option. publish that up to the live server, and I think we'll be done. We'll view that in the browser and we'll refresh. We're still logged in. You'll see we only have our actual pages listed in the menu here, and then we have our login and logout buttons here. So we can go to the home page. We just see our content here. We can log in, enter our passcode. We're then redirected back to the home page, and as you can see, we're logged in and we can view all of our protected pages.